Good morning. It's about 7:45 on Wednesday the 29th of July. Gosh, where's this month gone? About an hour ago I picked up my iPad to look at any comments that I had to answer from Saturday's video, and there's actually a question. So I want to answer it here because it needs answering. So can you say who left the question, Joe, and can you read me the question, please?
Okay, it was written by Maz Garcia, and it says, "Hi Jane, just wondering, as a fellow slimming welder, do you use your sins on a daily basis? What do you spend them on?" Smiley face.
Right, good question, because I don't think I've been saying very much lately about what I spend my sins on and how many I use. Now, anybody who's been with me for any length of time knows I bang on incessantly that Slimming World is 5 to 15 sins. And it was quite funny because when I had my conversations a couple of weeks ago with the press lady from Slimming World, we were talking about the plan, and it's one of the things I said to her that I really believe in, because lots of people just say, "Oh, I did really well today, I only had half a sin." I don't think that's doing really well. I think that's selling yourself short, because why would you only have half a sin if you can have 5 to 15 and still lose weight? And I think a lot of this, I'm answering the question in a roundabout way, but I think a lot of this is fear of eating. I think we have a massive fear of eating, and we also have a belief that the less we eat, the more we'll lose. And I'm learning with the way I'm eating now on free foods that is not necessarily true. I really don't believe that anymore. But I've never believed in having less than 5 sins, for the simple reason I started this journey at 22 stone. I started my Slimming World journey at 13 stone 8. If I'd have started at Slimming World 5 years ago and said, "I did really well today, I only had half a sin. I did really well today, I only had 1.5 sins," where would I have gone from there? Because I firmly believe that at whatever weight you start at, aim to have 15 sins. Even if you've only got a stone to lose, aim to have 15 sins. And then as you lose that stone, or that 10 stone, or that 5 stone, or that 2.5 stone, you've got something to slightly reduce. And not only, I think, does that work physically, but it works mentally. So if you start by having 1 or 2 sins a day, when you plateau, which I think we all do, when you plateau, where do you go from there? You've got nothing to cut back on. And having a full 15 sins is only usually around 300 calories. So if you then cut it back to 10 sins, which is what Slimming World recommend for maximum or sustained weight loss, they say to get the best weight loss, stick around 10 sins a day. But I tell you something, you can scour your books, you can scour the website, you can scour the apps, and you can even go on the new scanner, which is coming in about a month. And there is nowhere on any of those where it says 0 to 15 sins, it says 5 to 15. So, great question, and I will answer it by saying, yes, I do use my sins every day. I never go sin-free, and I always aim to have at least 5. Now, at the weight I am now, which is just over 9 stone, I would have probably 5 to 7. But if I needed the 15, I wouldn't hesitate to use them, for the simple reason they're there to be used. I wouldn't necessarily have 15 every day like I used to, but if you watch old videos of me when I was at what I call target then, so I was between, say, 8 stone 11, 9 stone, around that area, I was having 15 sins every day. And then I messed it up by using probably 100 sins some days. So yeah, I do use my sins every day. What do I use them on? I use them on extra hemp milk. I use them on extra porridge. Always have at least 10 grams extra porridge. So that's 1.5 sins. I use them on milled linseed. I use them on milled chia seeds, and I use them on hemp hearts. So they're the things I use. The linseed, the hemp seed, the whatever, the hemp hearts rather. They're the things I use to put some fat in my diet. And one of the things that Joe tells me regularly is, you've had no fat in that meal, you need some fat. Because the nutrients you're taking from your food, your vitamins, your minerals, etc., most of them are fat soluble. So if you don't put some fat in with that meal, those nutrients are just going to go straight down the chute and out the other end. They're not going to benefit your body in the same way. Can you name off the top of your head, Joe, vitamins that are fat soluble?
A, E, D, K.
They're really important. A for your eyes, E for your skin, D for your well-being, because that's your vitamin you're trying to get from the sun, and we top it up because we don't get enough sun. And vitamin K, I don't know what that does. I just know that's the last vitamin. When they named the vitamins back 100 and odd years ago, they only went as far as K. I'm still waiting for them to come up with vitamin L. But bear that in mind, because we're not only doing this so that we need... There's a comment we read in a book. We read so many books I can't even remember, but I know Joe read this one, when it said weight loss is not about just making the job easier for the undertaker. I used to have this awful fear when I was 22 stone that if they buried me, they'd have to bury me like a freight box because you'd never get a big enough coffin. I know it's a funny subject, but it makes me smile. I now think, oh, I'm kind of a normal weight. I'm kind of average now, aren't I? I don't have those worries anymore. I spent 30 bloody years worrying about the size of my coffin. That's why it makes me smile. I don't have to worry about that anymore. But we don't only lose weight so that we're living and dwelling in a smaller frame. We lose weight, I think, predominantly for health. We lose weight to get off medications, to get rid of high blood pressure, to get rid of type 2 diabetes, to actually be healthy. Because there's no point just losing weight to get skinny and being unhealthy. This is why Joe and I have this real not pet hate, that's the wrong expression, but when I was a smoker, I smoked to avoid eating. And to be perfectly honest with you, I could smoke 20, 30 Marlboro a day to avoid food. It filled me up because it settled my mind. But one of the things I did do for many, many years, in fact, I started as a smoker on a cigarette called Consulate, which was, I think, a white packet, a green and white packet. They stopped a while ago. They were menthol cigarettes, and I used to smoke menthol cigarettes because it tasted like food. Insanity. I used to get thin, then I used to get fat again, then I used to get thin, then I used to get fat again. I'd stop smoking, put on 3 stone, start smoking, lose it, mess myself up, every eating disorder under the sun. But the thing was, if I'd kept the weight off with cigarettes, I wouldn't have been healthy. I would not have been healthy. So something that happened in May was that all menthol cigarettes in this country are now banned. Can't sell them in this country. And that to me is such a blessing. Because if I crave a cigarette, and believe me I still do even though I stopped smoking a long time ago, if I crave a cigarette, and what I really crave is a menthol cigarette, and it's not because I'm craving a cigarette, I'm craving something to replace food, then I need to take it back a step and look at what is it you're messing with in your head. Food. I can always bring it back to food. And I said to my 80-odd-year-old friend yesterday, funnily enough, I still miss cigarettes. Still miss cigarettes, but not enough to smoke one. So yeah, my aim is to stick with Slimming World, stick with my free foods, stick with my 5 to 15 sins and never go below 5, because that is me getting into diet mentality. And it's very easy to do that, very easy to do that, but it's not the best place for me to be. Right, something else that follows on from that, and I'll only touch on it briefly because I've touched on it before, but it's really, really helping me at the moment, and I will willingly share anything that's helping me, in the hope that even if only one other person hears it and it helps them, it was worth sharing. I have changed my eating habits to eating earlier and eating more earlier. Let me explain. It might sound very odd, but Michael Greger, who I absolutely adore, is such a clever man. Nutritionfacts.org, is that?
Yeah.
Very clever guy. Says, and it's scientifically proven, the evidence is in the book, and he gives you references where you can trace it back and trace it back, so it's worth looking at. If you eat food earlier in the day, your body deals with it better. Your body uses it better. You gain less fat from food you eat earlier in the day. And it might sound like a nonsense, but if a scientist tells me that's true, I'll listen to him, because I'm not clever enough to work it out for myself. So what I did was I stopped having my porridge for my breakfast, which was my thing, porridge and fruit and that, because it wasn't enough to be the size of meal he said I should be eating first thing in the morning. So what I have now, and what AJ also advises, is I eat a savoury breakfast and I eat vegetables with my breakfast. And that don't come naturally to me. Don't. I'm gone Yorkshire. That does not come naturally to me. But do you know what? After a few weeks of doing it, I'm loving it. So I will have sweet potatoes some mornings I don't have the sweet potato. I'll have tender stem broccoli most mornings because I like that vegetable. And I will have a mixture of beans and spices and flavourings and nutritional yeast on it and linseed on it, and my secret weapon and most favourite ingredient. Can you read it from there?
Probably not.
Cumin. That's why I have a jar of cumin that's this size, not one that's like the Schwartz one or whatever that size, because this stuff just encourages me to eat vegetables. Really, really love it. I realise, like in Indian food and that, the ingredient I like the most is cumin. So I have a savoury breakfast and then I follow it with a piece of fruit, and it fills me. It's like having a dinner for your breakfast, but oh my goodness, does it set me up well for the day. I feel 100 times better for having it. I've got more energy. My skin, I mean, somebody said to me the other day, I've never seen your skin look so good, and yet I've always had good skin. It's not, touch wood, I'm not one of those people who ever had a problem with teenage spots or acne or anything like that. I've been blessed with my mother's skin, but I just feel like so much better for eating that way around. Then I have a massive lunch, I mean a big lunch, and more fruit, vegetables, grains, all that sort of stuff, but plenty of it, plenty of carbs, plenty of starch. My body seems to burn carbs better than it was burning fats. But again, I have to remember I need some fat in it, so you've got your seeds and whatever to get the fat that will process your vitamins and everything properly. And then at tea time, I have my breakfast. Now, you might think, oh God, she's weird. I don't care whether people think I'm weird or not, it works. I have a 50-gram bowl of porridge. If I want to, I'll put banana or something in it. I think we've got a picture of my breakfast, my tea for breakfast, haven't we?
Yeah.
We'll put it in this video. And I'll throw some hemp hearts on it or something like that. And that is a good breakfast for tea, for me to go to bed on. I know a lot of people say they have a Slimming World cooked breakfast for the tea. Well, I have a Slimming World porridge breakfast for my tea most days. And I go to bed on that, and I'm cosy and satisfied, and I don't go to bed craving chocolate and crap. I'm satisfied by what I'm eating. So yeah, I wanted to share that. Eating better earlier in the day, eating more earlier in the day, according to Michael Greger, and please go and have a look at his website and check this out for yourself. But it works. And the weight is coming off me here. I mean, my jeans and everything these are a size 10, loose. This top, couldn't get in it a fortnight ago. I'm in it, and I'm comfortably in it. So something's working, but I tell you what, I keep going up in weight and down and up and down. I don't want to keep going up. I want to change that in the future. My body, sorry, that's my mobile. My body shape has changed this time. As I'm coming down this time, the weight's coming off in different places, which feels really odd because I am conscious that I'm a different shape to what I was the last time I was this weight. So your body can do all sorts of weird things to you.
In the book that we were reading yesterday, I found it interesting when it said carbohydrates are to hunger what oxygen is to breathing and what water is to thirst.
Ooh, that's T. Colin Campbell speaking. Say it again.
Carbohydrates are to hunger what oxygen is to breathing and water is to thirst. So you only need a certain amount of protein to get by in life, and you only need a certain amount of fat, but if you want to feel satiated, it's the carbohydrates that are going to do it.
Yeah, that's right, because if you want to feel your thirst is quenched, you get a better result from water than you will from Diet Coke.
Yeah.
And oxygen, well, you get a better result from that than you do from carbon monoxide.
Yeah. So it's just that thing of not being scared of free food, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I used to be petrified of carbs. I have so many overweight friends, and I've probably said it myself, over the years who've said to me, can't eat carbs, it's carbs that make me fat. I look back on it now, I've said that myself when I was 20 stone all around there. I look back on it now and I want to scratch my head and say, hang on a minute. I don't eat carbs because it's carbs that make me fat. I wish somebody had said to me when I made that statement, hang on a minute, love, you are bloody fat and you're not eating carbs. Because I see this time and time again when people will say, oh, cut down on the carbs, cut down on the carbs. I need to lose weight and carbs make me fat. But do you eat carbs? No, I haven't eaten carbs for years. But you are fat. Somebody should have said that to me and challenged me. You are fat and you're not eating carbs. So how can it be carbs that's making you fat? I'd say, take a chance. Take a chance, give it a go, because that's what I've done in the last, 8-9 weeks. And I have never felt so satisfied by food. I'm eating more than I was eating before. And before I wanted to lose weight and I was going up and eating less. So this thing with the Michael Greger, eating earlier in the day, we talk about intermittent fasting. I think I don't consciously intermittently fast, but if I've had my tea by 5:30 and I don't eat again until probably 9 o'clock the next day, that's the best part, 17, 18 hours? Does it matter which end of the day you have that, eating, fasting, whatever you want to call it, window at? Because my eating window is probably from 9 till 5:30, which is 8.5 hours? So that everybody has a period when they don't eat. What the hell is sleep? Unless you're like I used to be and you're getting up in the middle of the night. We all fast because we go to sleep. If you eat at 10 o'clock at night and don't eat till 8 o'clock in the morning, that's a 10-hour fast. That's why breakfast is called breaking fast. Anyway, I'm off on one. I get so excited. Right, Joe has a couple more pictures, photographs he's going to put in for you. A couple of weeks ago I mentioned the fact that I had this pair of jeans, ankle grazer jeans, and I tried them on the 26th of June. No, let me get it right. I tried them on the 26th of May and couldn't get them up my legs. I tried them on the 26th of June. I got them on, but oh my God, I couldn't have sat down in them, but they were on and they were fastened. So I tried them on again on Sunday, which was the 26th of July, and they are better again. Still not quite right, but still a bit tight on the waist, but Joe took a couple, probably 3 pictures, and they were a size 10 fat face jean. Don't usually buy jeans in fat face, that's something new, but he'll put the pictures in. So he'll put the breakfast picture in and he'll put the pictures of the jeans in. The other thing I wanted to touch on, and this is down to the fact that I'm doing a bit more cooking at the moment. Well, we're doing a lot more cooking. And I say we loosely because we means Joe does most of it. Something we've used for years is parchment paper. And because we use a lot of it, we always buy the catering size from Nesbitt's. Not sponsored, we buy it. But I was conscious that when I put it in my roasting tins, I get myself in a right mess because it curls up and it won't lie flat. And unless I cut it exactly and then slit the corners, I can't be bothered. So that's what we've been using for years, Nesbitt's catering parchment. And I said to Joe one day, get me some silicone baking mats or whatever you call them. So he went on Amazon and he ordered these, and you get a set of 3 for $11.99. Again, not sponsored. Buy all my stuff. I'm being popular this morning. Buy all my stuff for myself. But these are flipping amazing. Why didn't I get these 10 years ago? This is my everyday roasting tin, which weighs a tonne. This was from Sainsbury's about 7 years ago, and it's still in really good nick. The mat fits perfectly into the bottom of it. So my roasted veg, which I don't use any fat for, I use stock. And I'll chop all my veg up, put it in a bowl, make a little bit of stock, pour it over so the veg absorbs a wee bit of the flavour from the vegetable stock. Then I lift it out of the water, I stick it on here. The other day I did a whole aubergine and a big red onion, and I put the whole aubergine and the onion in my own lunch. I didn't share it with Joe at all because I'm a greedy little piggy. But you know what? A whole aubergine and a red onion, how many calories approx, Joe? Less than 100?
Yeah.
Less than 100 calories for a whole aubergine and a whole red onion roasted. And it was delish. And I had it with millet and vegetables and some salady bits and some fruit and oh my God. Oh, and beans, because I put beans with my different beans. Massive bowl full of really filling food, you know, a whole aubergine. I don't just have a slice. So, yeah, these mats, they wash like a dream. You know, because if you just stuck your roasted vegetables into your tin, I mean, they literally would stick, wouldn't they? Because I'm not using fat. But can't say how grateful I am to the man or woman who invented silicone mats. Brilliant. So I wanted to show you those, because if you haven't come across them, or you've seen them and thought, oh, that'll be no good, give them a go, because they're really worth it. And like I say, anything I find useful or any ideas I found that are working for me, I want to be sharing them. I don't want to be secretive about my weight loss, you know, I'm gobby. I don't want to come on here and go, look, I've lost another 4 pounds, look, I've lost another 1 pound, look, now I'm 8 stone whatever, or 9 stone whatever. But I'm not going to tell you how I did it, it's a big secret. I think for any of us who find something that works, we have a responsibility to share it. And I know lots of other channels do. Lots of other channels will share how they got the results they got this week. And I think it's invaluable, because it's the way we can teach each other. If we found something that really works, teach somebody else how to do it. Even if it's only how to roast vegetables on a silicone mat and not have to stand at the sink for 10 minutes scrubbing your tin. Yeah. Right, the book. This book is today's giveaway. And it's Dame Jenny Murray, Fat Cow, Fat Chance. Now, when I started this book, I don't want to give spoilers away, because somebody is going to read this book because they've won it, and other people might want to go out and buy it or get it from Audible like I did. When I started this book, I was wowed, because she's talking about the 1950s and the 1960s, and she comes from Barnsley, and I come from not far from Sheffield, which are not, you know, a massive distance apart. I could relate to everything she said. Her granddad was a miner like mine, her grandma did the washing like my grandma did, her mother, you know, did stuff around the house and eventually got a job, and everything they're talking about, it was like, that's my childhood. And I kept saying to Jo, God, you could be writing my story. That is my childhood, even down to describing the local co-op. And my mum worked in the local co-op, so I knew every inch of our local co-op. And I was wowed. So got up to chapter 6, and then she mentioned Slimming World, and I thought, oh wow, she is telling my story. She never does Slimming World. That's not too big a spoiler, because she keeps mentioning it, but she never does it. Then we move on and we get to the scientific bit, where she's talking about the science and the genetics and everything. And I kept wanting to put my hand up like you did in class and say, Miss, I don't agree with you there, Miss, I don't agree with that bit, Miss. A lot of the stuff we've been reading over the last month is total opposite to what is in this book. The genetics stuff, yes, I agree with it to a certain extent. I think it can be in your genes. I think they have probably found a fat gene and a slim gene and everything, but saying you've got it when you don't know whether you have is called an excuse. So if I came on it here today and I said, my genes determine that I have got a problem with my weight and I'm going to be fat all my life and you're going to see me get fat again. I don't know that. I've never had my genes tested. Yes, they have mapped the human genome. Yes, what do you call those kind of doctors who take things further and further and further?
Reductionists.
Reductionists. Yes, the reductionist scientists are taking it further and further and further and further back. And they're taking it further and further and further and further back, but they're not using what they've already learned to change people's lives. I find that so frustrating. We can go into the minutiae of everything, but it becomes sometimes less and less useful. If you found something that determines why people are getting fat, use it. Don't just keep taking it further back in science. So she quotes stuff about genes that I don't agree with. She quotes some stuff that I do agree with. She makes as many excuses as I've ever made for why I'm fat. I don't really need to hear those. She says some stuff that I out and out disagree with. And then she ends up age 65 in a similar place to where I ended up when I was 53. That's as much as I'm going to say about that, because I don't like to say no spoilers. But did I enjoy this book? No. I enjoyed the beginning if it had been social history of my generation. But the rest of it, I found there was just a load of stuff to fill the pages. It's not, and it's crazy because I like her very, very much. I always have. As I said, I used to listen to her every Monday till Thursday on Woman's Hour when I was younger, 20 years ago, whatever. And I do like her. But I didn't like the book. And that's not to say it's a rubbish book. It's worth reading if you're into Jenny Murray, if you're into anything to do with weight and everything. But this is a hardback copy. This is not the copy you'll get. You'll get a new one from Amazon. But when I've got a book, we generally buy hardbacks if there is one because we keep our books. I'd give this book away to somebody who came to the door now. I'd stick it in the charity shop. And I don't usually do that with books because I like to keep them and we read them again. I thought 30% of the pages in here were just padded. You might think differently. I'm fascinated. If you've read it, tell me. Tell me what you think of it. But it didn't do it for me. Too many excuses. Too much feminism, and I'm not a feminist. But there's nothing wrong with being a feminist, is there? Just not. It didn't answer any questions that I wanted. It just didn't do it for me. But having said that, please, if you've read it and it did it for you, or if you win a copy, it's worth putting your name into the draw to try and win the book, because books are good. We should be reading plenty of books. It's how we learn, it's how we can entertain ourselves. Try keeping your hands full so you don't have something to stuff food into your mouth with. If your hand's got a good hardback book in it, lose yourself in books, novels or educational books. But I have to be honest and say, this is not the best weight loss book I've ever read. But yeah, it's her story, so it's good that she's told it. And in that regard, it is worth reading because it is her story, which is, like, what did they say, his story. It's your life. This is her life. And I shouldn't put it down for that. And if she was watching, would I say what I'm saying? Yeah, I would, because it's the truth for me, and that's my story. Anyway, I think that's it for today. Waffled enough. So if you want to be in with a chance of winning Jenny's book, just comment below and we will draw a winner next Wednesday and you will receive a brand new copy from Amazon. Okay. Hope you're all having a good week. Keep flying the flag for Slimming World if it's your flag. If not, fly the flag of whichever diet plan you're on. And we'll see you we'll see you Saturday. Take care. Bye.